Say go. Big House here. Well, congratulations. You survived 200 chapters of me. Well, this project has taken a life of its own. You see, I started out just to capture some of the stories of the people of my family and Native Americans, because I'm afraid in a couple of generations this is all going to be lost if we don't record some of the stories and the events and the crafts. So this project has taken a life of its own, and it's sort of carried me along just for the ride. I've truly enjoyed the journey. It taught me how little I really know about Native America and the people. I've been asked too many times, if I'm going to interview all of the people out here in Native America, when do I get around to interviewing myself? Well, it's not an easy project for me. But you asked for it, so here it goes. My Indian name is Guanalaqua. Roughly translated, it means man of big house or big family, so I call myself Big House. I am from Akwesasne, which is the St. Regis Mohawk Indian Reservation, and this is on the U.S.-Quebec border in upstate New York. I am of the Iroquois Nation, Mohawk tribe, and Turtle Clan. Clan means family. Now, the questions that I have are the same questions I've asked everyone. So my favorite accomplishment, next after having the kids, is starting with less than nothing and ending up proving myself as a national headlining comedian, stand-up comedian. Here we go. With a dark childhood, I did terrible things that I can never take back. And I struggled with low self-esteem, alcoholism, and worst of all, suicidal tendencies. When I finally dried out about the age of 33, I could find no salvation in Catholicism, as I was raised in a Roman Catholic cathedral as an altar boy, Roman Catholic. And drying out, I found no salvation in Catholicism. I lucked out and found my salvation in my roots, my native roots, as a Mohawk. The best moment of my life was returning to my own reservation as a national headlining comedian and being able to perform as such. The worst moment of my life, that's easy. I had built a 55 Chevy. It was 7 different colors. The ass end was jacked up to the sky, and it was the most beautiful thing I had ever built in my entire life. To me, it was everything. But the local cops didn't exactly see it that way, because they followed me everywhere I went. I couldn't do anything without them being right there. And one night, 2 cops pulled me over, and they informed me right off the bat that I was about to get my first ticket, and they were going to give it to me. And after 45 minutes of completely going over my car, they decided that I had an inadequate emergency brake. They wrote me a ticket for $10. Well, this was more than I could take. This was the end. So I borrowed a .38 pistol from a friend whose dad was a gun nut, and went down to my favorite fishing hole to settle this. I came within one trigger's pull of solving this problem, and then realized a few things. Number one, I have the guts to do this. Number two, I did have the $10, and I also realized that this was a very bad time to commit suicide, because I had just filled the car up with gas that day. Last and final question. This is another tough one for me. How do I feel about being native? As a child, I didn't like being thought of as a friggin' half-breed Injin. And I kept it to myself when I was off the reservation, mostly for my own health. My mentor, Sanaguade, which means does everything with his left hand, he told me, don't worry about it, and don't let these people convince you to stay on this reservation forever. Because if you get only 200 miles from this reservation, they won't even know it exists. And you can make yourself into anybody that you want to be. So that's what I did. I got lucky. Well, I was alcoholic till severely alcoholic till I was about 33 or so, and finally got lucky and moved off the reservation and dried out, and found my salvation in the Indian belief of Mother Earth, Father Sky, the Creator, the Peacemaker, the Indian culture. It's a very simple religion, and there's no leaps of faith. Everything is explained in one way or the other. So I got lucky and came back to my roots. And in doing so, I found that a big healing thing was telling native stories. I became a native storyteller. I've told stories for the Smithsonian Institute and all the way around the Virginias and the Tidewaters. And I grew to love myself. So I'm a bit ashamed to call myself a Johnny-come-lately Indian. But I'm very proud of being Indian now, and I'll do anything I can to keep this alive. So this is one of the main reasons I'm doing this crazy documentary on Native Americas, because this needs to be captured before it's all just disappears. All the old stories, the crafts, the people. So I'll just keep doing it as long as the great Creator let me go. And I thank you for watching. Stay gone.